Welcome to CharityVillage Connects. Today we're celebrating the winners of the CharityVillage Awards that are nationwide, and we just celebrated them in our conference yesterday. We are joined by Freya Struthers of WaterAid, winner of the Best Contribution to Workplace Mental Health for an organization under 20 staff. Congratulations, Freya.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary, to you and your team. This really means a lot to our whole team and is making ripple waves across the Federation here at WaterAid.
Oh, that's terrific. I'm so glad to hear that. Maybe you could tell us what you do at WaterAid and tell us about your organization's work and the kind of work that you actually do for WaterAid.
Sure. So WaterAid Canada is a member of a global federation, and we do work within the WASH sector, which means clean water access, sanitation, and hygiene. And we work in more than 30 countries around the world, supporting some of the most vulnerable communities. And some of the underpinnings of the work relate to gender equality, healthcare, access to education, and climate resilience. My role at WaterAid Canada is head of personal philanthropy. So I manage a small team and I work within major gifts, legacy, and manage our annual giving part of the fundraising ecosystem.
And so I wonder if you could tell me why you think that your organization was nominated for the award.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, some of the backstory is we had a call out from the WaterAid Federation 2.5 years ago, and it encouraged us to assign staff well-being leads and champions within the Federation. And so WaterAid Canada responded with some cautious enthusiasm. And even though well-being and mental health were on everyone's mind during the pandemic, changing almost everything we knew to be normal, well-being still wasn't something that we talked openly about at work. Despite this, and with very positive encouragement from our senior leadership team, I was assigned the well-being lead and our journey began. If I'm being honest, we did struggle a bit at first. So trying to determine the next steps that would address the diverse needs of the staff felt next to impossible. We're spread out across the country. We are exclusively a virtual work environment. So we needed to be mindful of this while putting resources into place. So virtual bingos and online yoga, while both great initiatives, were just not going to be enough for our team. And that meant that our well-being journey began administratively by looking at our internal policies. So to meet the needs of an exclusively remote staff who were dealing with lockdowns and curfews, school closures, illnesses, and more, we modified some of our existing practices. So for example, in March 2021, staff were given the option to carry over more vacation days than in previous years to account for the restrictions that had not allowed us to safely leave our homes over that fiscal year. Working hours were given more flexibility, and instead of a strict 9 to 5, staff continued to be able to work with their managers to create schedules that work best for them. Sick time is now thought of more holistically, and staff are supported and encouraged to use their sick days for both mental and physical health. And these intentional decisions have helped staff avoid burnout, unplug from work when they need to, and keep the work-life balance that we had before COVID-19. Of course, that's not to say that we don't also enjoy a competitive game of virtual bingo. Throughout the first year and a half, we tested a number of well-being initiatives that were really aimed to encourage us to socialize in a non-work capacity. So we worked with one of our Federation members to establish an annual well-being break that lets us come together virtually to enjoy fun activities, draw attention to Global Well-Being Day within the Federation. We established somewhat regular coffee breaks for the WaterAid Canada team, where we meet virtually for about 20 minutes and talk about anything on our minds that's not work-related. We integrate fun activities and icebreakers into smaller team meetings, and we encourage informal check-ins with each other and our managers to keep accountable of our well-being needs. We also have a virtual gratitude corner to praise colleagues. That's very uplifting, and a Teams chat dedicated to well-being discussion and general posts. And I can share that, approaching well-being openly has allowed us to think outside the box and deviate from the standard rhetoric. For example, when the financial strains of COVID-19 were just feeling hard to ignore, frankly, we reached out to a financial advisor who led a session on personal financial health. Despite all of this, I still felt like something was missing. So I had been working on well-being with some of my colleagues, but for the most part, it was a one-woman show, and it didn't feel sustainable. It didn't allow me to understand the different well-being needs among my coworkers. So to address this, I created an all-staff anonymous survey to help gauge how staff actually felt about well-being at WaterAid Canada. And the results were better than I had anticipated. And they showed that we were on the right track with initiatives that we had in place. I can share that there's two noteworthy results that I can highlight here. And the first was the validation of having a 2-hour Wellbeing Wednesday lunch break we consistently practice, and shorter work days every Friday to replace Wellbeing Wednesdays for the summer months. The second noteworthy thing is that people wanted to be more involved. So with this in mind, WaterAid Canada established our first ever Wellbeing Committee. So since the establishment of the committee, we've been able to implement more initiatives. The committee provides Wellbeing Wednesday messages that draw on a variety of resources to help highlight different aspects of well-being. We've also created a buddy initiative, which sets up new employees with a staff buddy who helps to cultivate relationships and provides a safe space for general discussion during virtual onboarding and beyond. And looking ahead, we'll be providing a mandatory line manager wellbeing training in the new year to ensure managers have the tools and the knowledge that they need to provide appropriate support to their staff. And it's important to note too that while some of the wellbeing culture at WaterAid Canada are through the initiatives that I've mentioned, it's present in quieter ways too, and it's not always visible. So this is exercised in the way we communicate with our colleagues in emails or in meeting spaces. It's the way we bring a mindful and empathetic approach to our work. It's the support we might feel from a colleague when we confidentially share a personal struggle, and we can do so without fear of risk or stigma. And all of these actions and kind of collective mindset contribute to how we react, navigate, seek solutions to support well-being in our team. And so while we might not always feel our best, we each have our own individual struggles, of course. As a team, WaterAid Canada maintains its commitment to being an approachable, a supportive, and a resourceful work environment. And we continue to look outwards to learn from others. So we move forward with a real openness to advancing well-being and building from this place.
Well, I mean, you described in some detail the kind of steps. It's so thoughtful, the steps that you took to be able to make and build over time a more healthy and supportive workplace, especially sensitive to the challenges to mental health that the pandemic certainly brought and day to day just brings to all of our workers. What do you think was that extra special thing? Can you summarize what made the difference, and what you think made the difference in terms of being named the winner of this award?
I think that although it is a volunteer part of my job, I mean, I work in philanthropy and that's my paid work, it's there's still this like a drip feed of well-being. Every week it's present in some way at WaterAid Canada. We're always looking to, with the committee's help, we're always looking to do more and strike that balance where it's not taking away from our paid work, but it's something that's consistent. And like I mentioned, it's present in quieter ways too. But there are some real signature activities that we do and look forward to now throughout the year. So I think it's that consistency. Also the idea of putting resources and effort into training our line managers. So it has to start from the top in order to breed this kind of culture. And our senior leadership team was on board from the very beginning. Very supportive, very encouraging, and willing to listen to the ideas of the committee. Like I said, we have a real kind of administrative approach to the things that we're doing, looking to see if we can tweak some of the current policies. That's a big deal, and you can't just do that with the stroke of a pen. So, it's pushed us into having some real candid and sometimes difficult conversations. But it's just proved that there's dedication from, across the senior team. And that might be partially why we landed the win.
Well, I'd love to know what it felt like when you learned that you were a finalist and then you were a winner. How did you feel?
I mean, the nomination was an incredible achievement for WaterAid Canada. So we were elated. And like I mentioned earlier, I mean, it's really caused ripple waves across the Federation. So our global colleagues are very excited. And from the conference and awards, I've had people contact me since then, interested in having conversations around how they can learn from us. But I'd also like to learn from other people and what they're doing. So we're on a real high here. And well-being and mental health is consistently assessed, and it's nurtured and it's supported through our global federation, which we're a part of. And we already knew that we were doing some great work from an internal perspective, but to win this now really validates the work that we're doing. It's a chance for us to share with others. It will help us to attract great employees who also care about well-being as much as we do. It's just very motivating to receive this award. And we can't wait to use the winner badge on our job postings as a quick example.
Well, we look forward to seeing that for sure. I'd like to know, objectively, when you take a step back, do you think awards like these are good for the sector and the professionals who work within it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the awards symbolize the attention and care that the sector has for its peers. It really helps to nurture the connectivity we all need. It highlights the work people are doing in various spaces, and also provides a learning opportunity so we can look externally to see who's excelling in specific areas, what we can glean and apply from those examples. And I think that the awards and the conference together, it was a great opportunity to network.
Well, we're so glad to hear that not only did you bask in that glory of winning the award and so well deserved, but also that you've been able to find the conference so helpful in terms of networking. That's fantastic news. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for all the amazing work that you do and your team, as well as your organization, for making the nonprofit sector and all the communities that we serve a better place. So congratulations to you again.
Thank you so much, Mary.